day 13 of the Hero podcast, here with me, Suppoman. The topic of today's podcast is we are going to talk about cryptocurrencies. Now, why? The reason why is because this appears to be the hottest topic online right now. What are cryptocurrencies? Cryptocurrencies are basically digital currencies. So you may have heard of Bitcoin, and Bitcoin is the leading digital currency. Now, what you'll probably know about digital currencies is that they go up and down. They're very volatile. The value of them can go up just as easily as it can go down. Okay, so it's one of those very, very quick, very, very new and very, very trendy ways of making money online. And I have just started. Today, I have started, and I wanted to share this journey with you because I myself am a complete beginner. I'm not one of those people that you get on YouTube that knows what they're doing and they go basically from screen to screen really fast and you need to pause to kind of see what's happening. So I'm going to introduce you to cryptocurrencies today. Now, why have I only just started? Really because I am getting left behind and I am sick of missing the boat, as I have told you in previous podcasts, okay? I always come to the party late, yet this seems to be a party that's happening right now. And I want to get in the thick of it, and I want to help you get into the thick of it as well by making it easy and accessible for you to do. So what you need to do to get started in order to be able to buy the different cryptocurrencies that are available is you need to create a wallet on Coinbase. Now, Coinbase is seen as one of the better places to create a wallet. And a wallet is essentially where you store the money to buy other currencies. Okay, so it's your secure place to keep the money. You don't do any trading with the wallet. You just simply store your cash in there. Okay, so this is Coinbase. And as you can see in my wallet at the moment, I've got a measly £17 because I have just basically transferred a load onto another website called Poloniex. But I'm going to take you through this step first. So all you do really is you just create an account on Coinbase. Okay, so if you click in the link in the description, you can essentially try Coinbase here and you will get $10 of free Bitcoin if you click the link. Okay, so what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to create an account. You're going to have to put your card details and buy Bitcoin. Or you can buy the two other currencies on there, which is Ethereum and Litecoin. But Bitcoin is basically the key currency to buy other stocks, okay? These other digital stocks. So that explains the beginning bit of what you need to do. Now, when you buy Bitcoin, you will see when you first sign up on your dashboard, it will say that the price of Bitcoin is something around this mark, or in the US is about $1,700. That is the price of one Bitcoin. So what you're essentially doing is if you buy $100 worth of Bitcoin, that will basically be a small fragment of Bitcoin. Okay, you're not going to be able to buy a whole Bitcoin, but you're buying enough of the currency to be able to buy other digital currencies, if you know what I mean. Okay, so you won't ever be able to buy a full Bitcoin unless you actually spend $1,700 and bought one full Bitcoin. But you don't need one full Bitcoin to be able to trade. You just need a bit of the Bitcoin currency, if it's 0.005 or whatever. That's all you need to be able to basically buy other stocks. Because if I go to Poloniex, which is basically where you buy and sell your currencies, this will show you the Bitcoin value of other stocks. Okay, so Ripple is one of the hottest cryptocurrencies at the moment, and it is currently worth 0.0001 of a Bitcoin. Okay, so if you buy $100 of Bitcoin, that is about 0.0053 of Bitcoin. Okay, so $100 is 0.0053-ish of Bitcoin. So you'd be able to buy tons of this stock, for instance. You'd be able to buy tons of game as well. And this is what I have bought today. Okay, so why cryptocurrencies? I'm going to give you an example of why you need to get in this game now. One of my friends bought Dash. Now, Dash is currently one of the top cryptocurrencies, but when he bought it, it wasn't top at all. So my friend bought Dash around about December 2016. At that time, Dash was worth $10. It is now worth $88. So he bought 1,000 Dash, okay, and that cost him $10,000. So $10,000 to buy 1,000 Dash when it was worth $10. It's now worth $88, and in that time, you can see what has happened to the value of Dash. It kind of went up and up and up, and then boom, up to $100. So if he had sold his Dash at that point, he would now have $108,000. Okay, that gives you an indication as to the power of buying cryptocurrencies and particularly getting in early. Now, it's very, very nice when you see a picture like this. It's very, very nice when you buy a cryptocurrency and all of a sudden, boom, it goes up. But what happens when you buy it at its peak? If I was to buy Dash here and just buy some Dash, I probably wouldn't buy, you know, one Dash, because one Dash alone is $107. But if I bought one Dash for $107, look what happened not long after it reached $107, $108. It went down to $60, $58. Okay, it went down to $58. So it can go down as well as up. Now, to my knowledge, my friend hasn't sold his Dash, so he's ridden this wave. He's ridden the high points, he's ridden the low points, and now it's gone up to a relatively healthy $88 a Dash, okay? Whereas, you know, just about a week ago, it was worth $105. So this is the time, okay? Because Dash has been and gone, in my opinion, okay? It was really dirt cheap around about here when it was worth $3, less than $3. Now it has kind of realized a lot of its potential. Now this could, just like Bitcoin, go up a lot more. So let's look at the value of Bitcoin over the years. Okay, so this is going back as far as a year. So this is going back a year. And at this point, Bitcoin was worth $300 per Bitcoin. Okay, $300 per Bitcoin. So if I bought one Bitcoin at this point, I would have had $307 invested in a Bitcoin. Now we come to May 2017. Okay, and now the price of Bitcoin is in the 1800s. I mean, that is insane. So essentially, if I sold that one Bitcoin, I would make now a profit of $1,500. Okay, a profit of $1,500 selling that one Bitcoin. But that's Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is a major Bitcoin. It has realized a lot of its potential, and unless this goes up to 4,000, then you're not getting a huge amount for the $300 that you initially invested. But we are talking about the currencies that haven't yet even began to grow. Okay, so let's go back to Bitcoin, and we are talking about currencies like Game, we're talking about currencies like Ripple, and there are a few others that I've heard about. There's Dodge, there is Waves, there are a few cryptocurrencies which are at the very early stages of its potential, hopefully. Okay, so if we just have a look at Game is what I have bought today. Okay, and you can see that Game is already doing quite well. Now, obviously, I wish I could go back to December and have got it here. Because at this point, Game was worth, well, we're looking in Bitcoins, and we can't have a look and see what the dollar value was. But let's just take, for example, that Game was worth 0.0008 of a dollar to buy one share. Okay, if you had bought $100,000 of shares in Gamecoin at that point, when it was worth 0.0008, all you would need for it to do is go up to 0.008 and you're a millionaire, because the value has gone up by 10 at that point. Okay, so if you put 100,000 in, then 100,000 times 10 is $1 million. Okay, so if you'd have put $100,000 into game at that point, when it went up to 0.008, you'd have been a millionaire. And now it's worth a hell of a lot more. Okay, so basically right now you'd probably be, somewhere towards having about 20 million or so at a guess. But what I'm saying is that if you invest while the value is really dirt low and keep an ear out to what's happening in the market, then it's a very high likelihood that you will make massive gains in a short period. So why should you go to cryptocurrencies? Well, because a lot of what people have done traditionally is invest in stocks. Okay, so big company stocks. A lot of people, had stockbrokers. They bought stocks in big companies. And over time, those stocks, they get more and more valuable as the company's brand gets bigger. Okay, so if you bought Facebook or Twitter or Snapchat, the value of it when it was first launched compared to the value in about 10 years' time will probably be huge. Okay, but with company stocks, the growth is much slower. The growth, this kind of growth that you see here, happens over the course of a year, 2 years, 3 years. But with cryptocurrencies, this growth happens literally overnight. So there are two main strategies with cryptocurrencies. One is long-term investment. So if you bought Bitcoin back in the time when Bitcoin was worth, $300, that is the long game. Okay, so you bought it at $300. It's now at $1,800. You've made $1,500, but over time that will get more and more. And if you bought more than one Bitcoin, you'll obviously, multiply the revenue that you'll make off selling it. And then there's the second strategy, which is pump and dump. Okay. It sounds quite, crude, I suppose. But the whole pump and dump strategy is on currencies like Dash. Okay. So Dash was something that grew enormously in the space of a month. Look, from January 2017, it was $15 per Dash. And then as of March, it was $86. So it was worthwhile to pump your money in around about January time and then dump the currency around about March time when it was at its highest. Okay, that is pump and dump. So you basically ride a wave and then you dump it. Okay, so you pump money in while it's in the dip, I suppose, and then you dump it once it kind of reaches its peak and it starts to go down. Those are the two main strategies that you use for cryptocurrencies. Okay, but it's a great time to get started. So let me just show you how I did it. So I basically bought $100 because I just wanted to try and test the whole thing, okay, and get used to it. I'm not going to put $1,000, $10,000 in and just, I'm going to go for it. I'm going to pump all my money in and become a millionaire. That is how you do it if you're a power player, okay? But I'm just starting, and I'm not even going to pretend to know what I'm talking about or what I know at this stage. I know very little. I can have a look. If I just look at Ripple right here, if I look at it on Google, then it will show me how it's doing over time, okay? And an educated guess is that it's kind of on the way up. It's doing really well. And I've heard so many people online saying Ripple is doing really well. Okay, but I don't know if this is its peak or if we're on the verge of seeing a tremendous growth from, however much this is worth. This is currently worth 28 cents per Ripple. If it's going to be worth $80 in a few months' time, if it's going to be worth $128 in a few months' time, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen, so I'm just trying and testing. So I basically set up my Coinbase account, I put $100 in, and then I went to Poloniex. And Poloniex is where you basically do the buying and selling. Okay, this is where you buy the currencies, where you sell the currencies. Now, I bought Ethereum. I should have bought Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is how you buy these cryptocurrencies, the small ones. But I bought Ethereum. So what I needed to do when I went to Poloniex, and I did this just today, is I had to sell my Ethereum for Bitcoin. So I had to basically exchange, I had to sell my Ethereum for a certain value of Bitcoin, whatever the kind of exchange rate was. And I hope I got a profit. So I had to sell that. And then if I look in my balances, so if I look in my deposit and withdrawals, you can see I currently have $94 in Bitcoin at the moment. Okay, so I've got 0.053 of a Bitcoin. And that is the equivalent of $94. All right, so that is how much I've got. And with 0.05 of a Bitcoin, I can buy some currencies right now. Okay, so I have already spent a bit of my Bitcoin on GameCoin. Okay, so I bought some GameCoin down here. So I bought 20 game coins. Okay, and it's now down to 19.95. So as far as I can see it, I think there was a bit of a fee I had to pay, which took some of the value off. But as far as I've been led to believe, I've not made any money on this yet. Okay, so if I go back to the exchange, you can see that GameCoin is plus 65.80. That's 65% up, essentially, is what it's saying. And I think that's from yesterday. Okay, so 65% up, so it's doing extremely well. However, I might have caught it. I caught it at about 63%, so it's not gone up much since then. Okay, but you can already see that the value of a game currency is very, very small at the moment. And with the amount of Bitcoin that I've got, I can buy quite a few of them. Now, if we go back to my balances, you can see that I have got 0.02 left of Bitcoin. So what I'm going to do now is I am going to speculatively buy Ripple. Okay, I'm going to show you, and you're going to see me buy my second ever currency. Okay, and this is Ripple. So you can see that Ripple continues to gain. And when I had a look at this page yesterday, Ripple was at 0.23. It's now at 0.33. Okay, so it's already gone up quite a few points from yesterday. Okay, so it's potentially going to do really well. And I am potentially in the early stages, just like what Dash was at about 7 months ago. Okay, so Ripple could be huge. Ripple could be worth $100 in about 7 months' time. And at the moment, it's worth 33 cents. So this is a worthwhile pump and dump, particularly because it's just on an upward trajectory, and also because if you look online, you can see financial analysts are kind of saying, yeah, Ripple is on the way up because of some kind of regulatory decision. Okay, so there are all sorts of factors, exactly like stocks, that determine the value of a cryptocurrency. Okay, so there are certain bits of information that tells the market, right, Ripple is something that's worthwhile for the long term. And then there are currencies which you don't hear anything about, and then they just kind of just stay at a dip. They don't really rise. Okay, so Ripple is worth a potential pump and dump. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I am going to buy some Ripple. Okay, so we've got Ripple selected. What we need to do now is go down to buy XRP, and that is basically the kind of 3-letter acronym for Ripple. All right, so at the moment, the price of XRP is 0.0001, and I have 0.027 of Bitcoin. Okay, so let's just have a look and see how much can be bought here. So if I just put 10 XRP, that would be 0.001. Okay, so I've got 0.02. So if I buy 20 XRP, let's have a look and see how much that is. 20 Ripple coins is 0.003 of a Bitcoin, and I've got 0.2. 100 would be 0.01. Okay, so is it worth buying it? Let's have a look. So if I put buy, by pressing that, it has now placed the order. So I've attempted to buy 100 Ripple coins. Okay. So I press OK, and then if I go down to where it says My Open Orders, you will normally see that I have attempted to buy Ripple, but it's already gone. So what happens is that I must have bought it. It must have been bought. So now you can see that the estimated value of my holdings is $94, and this is now going to go up and down, up and down. And you can see here that I have now bought Ripple. So if I just go down, there you can see I've now got 99.85 Ripple, okay? So I've got 99.85 Ripple, I've got 19.95 GameCredits, so now it's going to be a case of seeing how it goes, alright? So if we go back to the exchange, both Game, which is now at 69, plus 69%, and we've got Ripple, which is at plus 25, okay? So both are potential pump and dump scenarios, or they are potential long-term scenarios. We have to see how the price goes over time. But what I would suggest is if you get started with this, the best thing to do is to just basically speculate. See what the market is saying, see what's being said on YouTube as well. Now, when I went on YouTube earlier, I had a look and looked at Ripple, okay? And there's one saying, should you invest in Ripple? Buy Ripple or cry later. This was 1 day ago. And it's basically saying Ripple has such potential, you will cry if you don't buy it now. And this was yesterday. So look at the different currencies available on Poloniex and have a look on YouTube and seeing what people are saying, seeing what the cryptocurrency community or trader community are saying. And the great thing about this is that you need absolutely no qualifications to do this. You can just do it from your chair at home. And it's worth it because the potential is huge. Okay, so I recently saw this from one of my friends on Facebook. He actually shares information and some guy got in contact with him and saying, thank you for sharing what coins to buy. You changed my life. I'm eternally grateful. And then my mate said, how did you do? How much have you made? And he goes, I made $960,000 on Ripple and $120,000 on Wavecoin. Okay, so he's basically become a millionaire as a result of cryptocurrency trading. So essentially, the potential is there. And I wanted to bring this potential to you because it's the party that's happening now. And if you're one of those people that missed the party, then get in on the action. And if you look at this troll box here, which is right by the graphs, you will see what people are saying about the various coins. And they will say what's happening, are they worth it, what are the factors that are determining the price and whether the price is going to go up or down. It's like a basically real-time commentary. Okay, so basically get started, put some money on Coinbase. I would recommend that you did it via the app, because when I tried to do it via the computer, it didn't work. Yet when I did it via the app, there were no problems. Okay, so I basically transferred some money on Coinbase. I then transferred it to my account on Poloniex, which is really easy to do. So it's now gone up to 94.94. Now, also what I will say is it's best not to be looking at this every minute of the day. Leave it for a day, see what it's like, come back in a couple of days, have a look and see what it's like. It's probably best not to be watching every minute of the day because otherwise you're just going to get stressed out. It's not moving. It will move quickly, but it's not going to move in minutes or seconds, okay? So you put your coins on Coinbase and then you deposit from Coinbase to Poloniex. Okay, so for instance, with Ethereum, what I had to do is I basically went to deposit and then I needed to get the address for Poloniex. So if I clicked on deposit address, it will show me the deposit address. Okay, and then I go back to Coinbase. I basically go send and request, and then you add that deposit address in here. And then you select how much you want to send, and then you just put send funds. And then what will happen is about 15 minutes, 20 minutes, the money will show in the basically deposit and withdrawals bit. Look, you can already see it went up to 95.77, now down to 95.28. So it's quite exciting. Look at that, already made $1. Look how quickly the price can go up. So that was today's podcast. What did you think? I hope that this has enlightened you as to what you can do as far as cryptocurrencies is concerned. And I hope that this has made you feel a bit more comfortable about them, because I always thought it was a bit of a minefield myself. So I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in day 14.